Hi and welcome to the first subscriber report of 2017. Now, just to be clear about exactly what this is specifically a subscriber report for this channel, so it relates to the subscribers to my channel, not to anything else, not to specifically World of Warcraft, although it's a World of Warcraft channel. So what I like to do in this one, for those who have not come across any before, I've got a number of new subscribers, well over 1,000 subscribers since the last one, so welcome to you all. And it's about, first of all, me explaining what I'm doing with various aspects of the channel, and also inviting people to offer suggestions and feedback and things like that. And some people do that and are pretty good at that. But it's also a way of me being able to respond to some of that feedback. I am very keen. A number of times on my channel, you can see, I mean, people who've been there since the beginning, or even if you look back to some of the older, more embarrassing stuff, can see that it has clearly changed over time. And not a lot of time. I've only really been doing it for a year and a half properly. The channel itself is older than that because I used to just use it to upload kill videos for friends and guildies. But yeah, it's in fact, it's almost to the day a year and a half since I started doing this channel properly, I think. Am I right in that? Yeah, it is actually 18 months. Wow, never even thought about it before then. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm just going to go through some questions that people have asked me, more specifically about comments from the previous subscriber report. So I'm going to be clicking on through various windows here and offering some feedback on those, as well as then there's another couple of questions people have asked elsewhere. I can't now find them, but I remember them very distinctly. So I'm also going to cover those as well. And then what I want to do is talk a little bit about stats. There's a load of stats. There's been quite a significant period of time actually in 2017 for the channel, and I want to talk about that, but I won't be able to do it in as much detail as I would like because at the moment I'm doing a lot of statistical analysis and it's not done yet. But for the next subscriber report, which I am aiming to be out in about a month, then it will be. So just go a few comments first of all. So someone said, what I'd like to be including in your videos is timestamps. I mostly watch your complete videos, but sometimes I'd like to skip some parts. Okay. And yeah, and there's some of my content where I do put timestamps. The ones I'm likely to put timestamps on are like the guides, especially the longer guides, because that's in very clear sections. Now, sometimes when I do a longer video, like a vlog, like at the moment, I'm just rendering a vlog which goes on for about half an hour. And you might think, well, that might be another good case of where you could put timestamps in. The downside there is there's two things. First of all, the rambling nature of a vlog means even when I have some notes there to try and keep me on track, I can still go off tangent and back again, and it makes it a little bit difficult to do that. But the other thing, to be perfectly honest, is time. If I just try and explain a little bit about what's involved when I do the video, so without going mad on it. So first of all, obviously I have to have the idea what am I going to do a video on, and then I have to think about what I'm going to say. And then it's a case of recording it, and then it's a case of editing it, and editing it is going to record it, cutting out all the bits where I'm coughing my lungs up or whatever, and then rendering it and all the rest of it. And it takes, even the stuff after it's recorded takes a considerable amount of time. Now, if I were to go through there and try and do timestamps as well, and try and work out exactly where I'm moving from one topic to another, where it's not always super clear, that takes an extra amount of time as well. And in terms of pressures on my time, I have a fairly involved job. I'm a teacher, so that takes up obviously a lot of my time. I'm a raider, so that takes up a fair amount of my time as well. And then also I'm an officer in that raiding guild, so I'm into recruitment, and I spend a lot of time on that as well as tactics and stuff like that. And then there's the channel. So what I have to try and do is be really efficient. Now, there are certain times of the year when I don't have to be as efficient like that and can do certain things. So, for example, as a teacher, we get 13 weeks off a year, which sounds quite nice. And it means during that time, not all in one lump, but during that time, I am able to spend a bit more time on the videos. So in a few weeks' time, for example, I'm getting 2 weeks off for Easter. Golden opportunity for me to sit down and work on some things that are in a bit more detail like that. But in the other times, the 3/4 of the year, I have to be really efficient. Like this weekend, I was saying in a video this weekend, I've got a list of 30 videos that in theory, I would like to have done this weekend. That's not possible. It's simply not possible. I can't do that. I mean, how many videos have I done? I've done like 5 videos. It's taking, and I'm a Sunday now. So, the time it takes to do all these things. And it's just, you try and think to yourself, how important is it? And something like a timestamp. If it's for a guide, then it's super important to put it in. If it's for a vlog, because it's less important, it just goes down the priority list. So it's not that it's not a good idea, it is. And if I were a full-time YouTuber, I would absolutely do it. Or if it was in the middle of summer and I've got like 6 weeks off, I would probably do it as well. But at the moment, so hopefully people can understand why that is. Now, I've got a comment here. I really enjoyed the Archives of Warcraft series. Remembering back now, that was what first attracted me to your channel, but it's the regular updates that have kept me subscribed. Now, this is sort of touching on an issue. I'm just going to... I was playing about with some stats this week. And what I was doing is I was trying to put videos into, like, category. Now, one thing that has happened with my channel is, if I give you, like, a little very quick potted history. So I started consciously doing a channel September 2015. I thought, I'm going to do a channel. I'd already put a few videos up there just to test the water, but this was the point which I said it was like mid-September 2015, 18 months ago, I'm doing a channel. And the growth was slow. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not saying I'm an expert now. I am much more expert, but I had no clue at the time. And then I got my first... I got to 1,000 subscribers in April 2016, so that's a long time after, half a year after. Very slow growth, but steady, and I was okay with it. I didn't feel frustrated at all. And after that, it got shorter and shorter to get the next 1,000. And ever since July, because July is when I got to 2,000 in July, and then I got to 3,000 in August, 4,000 in September. So basically, every month after that, I was hitting another 1,000 subscriber milestone. Till December, 7,000. So I expected this to continue. I knew there was a drop-off in December, but I knew about that. Not as many people watch stuff on YouTube, particularly related to... Because you can see in the game itself, World of Warcraft, not as many people are playing around Christmas. They're all going off, visiting family and stuff like that. So you expect an equivalent drop-off on YouTube, and indeed, that's what I got. But I was expecting it to pick up again in January and get my 8,000 subscribers in January, 9,000 in February, 10,000 in March. That's not what's happened. It was very slow to start in January. Then it sort of picked up around about mid-January. It sort of looked like it was going to start going up again. I thought, okay, we're back on track now. Because I was hoping, of course, you know, I've been getting 1,000 a month. I mean, I got about 1,200 in November. I was hoping it'd actually take off, and I'd start. There'd come a point where I'd be getting 2,000 a month, and then 3,000 a month. I mean, not rapidly, but you know what I mean, moving that way. And it was coming down and down. I'm going to look at, I've got a few graphs here. And there's one here, like there's weekly number of new subscribers gained. And it was like, in the first month of January, 200, about 200. Then it was 282. Then 78, sorry. Then 132. Then 70. I'm thinking, oh, 70 in a week. It's a long time since I've had that few new subscribers. I'm thinking, oh, it's into February here. And then 89, 84. I'm thinking, what's going on? And then last weekend... horror of horrors, it was actually negative. Just over a span of a few days, not a whole week. There's never been a whole week when it's been that bad. But over that weekend, when you expect most people to be looking on stuff, and you're thinking, what's going on here? And I thought, and you keep hearing stories about little bugs happening that affect your subscriber. And in the back of your mind, you've got, oh, what if it's some technical issue? But then you sort of know, you can't be thinking in terms of that. You've got to think, well, no, it's something about what you're doing is stifling the growth of your own channel. So you need to try and work it out. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I can't believe, and this is part of it, like, there's a lot of things I know that I don't do well because, again, time, but I know I need to do to get growth. That's why sometimes people say very kindly, you should have more subscribers. It's, well, the subscriber growth is probably going to be very slow because a lot of the things I could, in theory, do to promote the channel. Once I've done my sort of day job and I've done raiding and officering and making stuff for the channel, it doesn't leave a lot of time for the marketing and analytics type style of thing to do, even though I'm well up for that. Again, outside of like the long breaks that I have. But here's the thing. So as of this Wednesday just gone, I had 8,326 subscribers. That's Wednesday. We're now on Sunday. So we're just a few days later. And I have 8,711 subscribers. That is in less than a week, like half a week, bit over half a week. That's 385 net new subscribers. You always lose some. There's always some subscribers losing. And again, it comes back to what you were saying. So you were attracted to the Warcraft, the Archives of Warcraft series. That series finished some time ago, and it's not. It's like an off-topic portion of my channel. It's not really the sort of thing that I keep doing stuff on that. There's stuff like that I would keep liking to do, but it gets pushed down to like lower priority because of the other stuff that keeps coming up. So 385. Now, just to draw a parallel there, the previous 2 weeks of March, because that was 15th, that Wednesday was the 15th of March. Up until that point, in the whole of March, I'd only gained 141 subscribers for 2 whole weeks. And then within a few days, 385. Just put into context. Now, what's the reason for this? I don't know. I have no idea. And so then I started to look, okay, I need to think about the types of video I'm doing. So I worked out, let me get the right one, because I put my videos into categories. Now, I'd like to do this for the whole time I've been doing the channel, but that's like nearly 1,000 videos. It's going to take me a while to do that. So what I did instead is I did 2017, the videos I brought out in 2017, and I put them into categories, and then I produced like a bar chart of them. And then I did it for the first few months, like the back end of 2015 when I first started the channel. And I noticed a couple of things. Graphs are amazing, aren't they? I don't know, I love stats. But you have to be very careful, you know what you're reading into them. So the first thing I noticed is, first of all, I had to create more categories to cover the videos I did when I first started the channel. And one thing, because naturally what you'll do when you're trying to grow a channel is you'll look at what people who are experts in these sort of things will say. And they'll say about, you want to be focused on what your channel's about. And if you want to start doing something else, you should really just do another channel. Because that, and I can understand how that could be off-putting. So if I say my channel's about this and then I start to do other things, then people, because as a subscriber, you're getting notifications of this new video that's come up. And people are probably thinking, well, I'm not interested in that, and I'm not interested. And once 5 times in a row you're going, well, I'm not interested in that, you then begin to question if you should be subscribed to this person. So that's totally understandable. At the same time, it's very difficult to just do it about one thing, because when it's World of Warcraft, I mean, here are the categories that I now have. So in terms of Retribution Paladin things, where is it now? Here we go. So there's 4 types of Retribution Paladin video I did that I decided. There's the actual guides. Then there's sort of PvE guides. That's like, you know, how to use them in particular encounters and stuff like that. And then vlogs on stuff, and then actual news. So what's coming up for them. Then you've got general raid guides, general boss guides, controversial vlogs, different types of vlogs. I call a controversial vlog one where I know there's a lot of people just basically going to disagree with me without ever considering it. I'm not going to shy away from doing those. I don't do them to try and get a reaction, but if I want to discuss something, I will discuss it. I do always try and explain myself at least, so that people, even if they're going to disagree, can at least they've got the reasoning there. General vlogs, the weekly news, informative videos, they're quite in common, but they go off topic, which just anything that doesn't come into any of these categories. Nostalgia stuff, which the sort of Archives of Warcraft series will go into. Blizzard news, like for example, videos on Blizzard's live Q&As and stuff like that I'm just rendering at the moment, and any upcoming info, anything on like upcoming patches, stuff like that. So from the last like 2.5 months in 2017, what I can see is, in terms of average views, my videos have got an average of 4,500 views in 2017. Now compare that with when I first started the channel, the equivalent few months, where the average is 558. So the growth in terms of views per video is obvious. It's like increased 9-fold. I get 9 times as many on average views per video than I was at the time. And in fact, that's mean average. When I start to look at other averages, it's more than 10 times more, because typically a video back then, most of my standard videos would get like 100. The only reason that mean average is bunged up is because there were a small number of videos that, because they're remained relevant for a long time, ended up with over 10,000 views, which compared with that average at the time, bungs the rest up. Whereas now, a typical video, it's very uncommon for me to do a video that gets less than 1,000 views. And when it does, it's not much less, but there are a few. So when I look at the videos now, so I can see Retribution Paladin Guides get very high. That's over 10,000 views on average. Then the next one is the old controversial vlogs. And when I look down at specific videos, then I can actually see, like, you know, the one about Fusion getting banned, you know, gets a very high number of views there, about why damage meters are bad, about Ian Hazard cost us what he said in 2017 compared to 2008. All these sort of ones where you're going to have sort of very polarized opinions about what I'm talking about get quite a lot of views. It's almost like people like drama on the internet. Strange. So what you can naturally say, if you're looking at this, you can well imagine, you can look at it and go, well, I need to do more drama videos, don't I? But you also have to have a focus on what your channel is about. So maybe part of the reason why it's not growing as much, because I don't do as much, because you look at this video, I know that anyone who was objective and nothing to do with my channel, if they looked at this graph, they would say to me, what you need to do, all these ones, like the weekly news and the Blizzard news and stuff like that, are not getting you that many views, so knock them out, stop them, and do more of the ones on these ones that are getting loads of views. But I sort of know that then it's not really what I'm wanting to do with the channel. So I think what a better potential way for me to go forward is, and this is something I'm going to have to try out, is I'm going to think of the ones that get a lot of views as being like, I'm going to think of videos as being attackers and defenders. So the attackers are the ones that will get loads of views and bring in a lot of new subscribers. And the defenders are the ones that are there for holding purposes, that, you know, so in other words, they'll keep people subscribed, as this person said. You know, I joined you for this content, but I stayed for this content, and that's what I need to do. And I think so. But if there are any sort of categories of content that people do think are out of place on the channel, then perhaps need to say so, and perhaps I will look at it a bit more objectively as well in the future. Now, this person then went on to say, I have only one critique: your channel can be relatively difficult to navigate. Take a look at other channels, not necessarily WoW focused, and how they separated their main page into a few different categories. And that's certainly something I need to look at. I mean, what I have done is put things into playlists. So if you click on my playlist, you can sort of see videos put into categories. I have done something very new with playlists recently as well. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm hoping it is. It's a bit of a fiddle, really. Is I've created a playlist called New Videos. So any video that's like a week and a half old, like, in other words, when I create a new video, it automatically goes into that playlist. Then a couple of weeks later, I'll move them out into their normal category playlist. And if there isn't a playlist for them, then I'll just remove them from the playlist completely. The reason I'm trying to do that is not because it's necessarily more helpful. I'm hoping it will also be helpful, but that's a side issue. It's because in terms of YouTube promoting your videos, first of all, they'll promote it if it's new. And then, of course, like they'll give it a bit of a bump up for the first week because it's classed as a new video. After that, it falls or stands on its own merit. So how many people have viewed it? If a load of people have viewed it, it'll still rank quite highly. And when I say viewed it, I mean viewed it and carried on watching it. Because watch time is more important to YouTube than views. Like, we focus on views and subscribers, but that's because we can see it. If I look at someone else's channel, I can see the number of views they're getting for those videos, and I can see how many subscribers they've got. So that's a very quick way of me judging that channel. But it's not the highest priority for YouTube. That's watch time. They want you to watch it for a while. So I have to pay attention to things like view duration and things like that. How much of the video are people watching on average? And if you get 10,000 views, but 9,000 of them watch it for 5 seconds and go, oh no, this isn't what I thought it was, and stop watching, well, that's actually dreadful. So for ranking purposes, you know, it needs that watch time there. So what I've done, because another thing they like is, if like put it into a playlist, it's almost like it's new content. So the thinking here is put it into this new videos playlist, and then a week and a half later, put it into a different playlist, and YouTube goes, oh, you've done another video, have you? Yeah. I don't know whether that'll work or not, but it was suggested again by someone who's very successful on YouTube, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. Next comment, it says, so yeah, sorry, in terms of navigating, I mean, I will have to look into it. It is obvious that, you know, organising these things. Playlists I thought was a pretty good way, but maybe it's not the best way. Maybe I need to think about that. But that's something I'm going to have to learn. And again, the time to learn is during these long holidays that I get. And hopefully it would be Easter rather than summer, but summer is when I get the most time to do things like that. Next one says, maybe you could make some general guides for the alt classes you play, like Death Knight and Demon Hunter. Thing is, I don't really play alts very much. Like Hunter's the one I'm playing a bit at the moment, but even then it's not a lot. Because again, time. So I don't have a lot of time to learn how to play the class myself. And I'm not going to do a guide. I know a lot of people do guides and they're a bit rubbish because basically what they've done is just ripped off someone else's guide and put their own footage in it. And it'd be easy to do that. Piece of piss, I could do it for every spec in the game. Level up the characters, look at someone else's guide, match it to mine, put some of my own gameplay on it where I'm not doing anything dreadfully wrong, especially in easy content where I'm not likely to be pressured, and knock them all out. But then I'm not adding anything, so I'm not really inclined to do that. I did do a Havoc Demon Hunter guide before Legion came out because the Havoc Demon Hunter was going to be my split raid out, so it was going to be one I was going to be invested in playing well, but then that sort of fell by the wayside. I'm now in a guild that doesn't do split raids, and because there's so many other pressures on my time, out sort of falls by the wayside, even though I do quite like playing a few of them. So I don't think it would be appropriate. I don't think it's super appropriate for me to even talk about like upcoming changes to them, but I sort of... then I'd be thinking to myself, is that off topic and is that sort of thing I shouldn't do? Because then if I start talking about upcoming changes to Hunters, say, and then people, oh, right, okay, and that sounded quite good, I'll subscribe to them. And then they don't get another Hunter video for 6 months. It's like, oh, okay, I'll just go back and watch Azathorian. So I think that's the reasoning for that one. And again, as I say, I mean, do offer this feedback. I'll sometimes disagree with it and just not do it. Sometimes I'll agree with it. Now, one thing I sort of now agree with is there's lots of things I've agreed with in the past. There's been a couple about intros. So the first one is like when I first did intros on my video, someone suggested it was a bit too long, and I sort of agreed with that, chopped it down. Now you'll notice, apart from my weekly WoW Flash video, I don't put that intro in anymore. Now, it's not because, because some people have sort of talked about that, and I've sort of thought, yeah, it is an opportunity for someone to watch it and go, oh no, and click off onto something else, even though it only lasts a few seconds. What I ideally want is some sort of intro thing that goes over the video. It's not audio, it's purely visual, and like a little banner at the bottom, perhaps, that puts the same information there. That's something to be worked on in the future. In the meantime, I have basically chopped the intro from all but my WoW Flash videos for that. And that's the reason I've sort of come round to the idea now that it's not adding anything, and it is potentially a way for people to go, no. So, I mean, some people may disagree with that, but I've now come round to that way of thinking. Right, this one says, all I can give you for feedback is it may want to improve lighting in your computer room. I would love to improve the lighting in here. It is quite difficult. I can't really set up a dedicated studio for it, and I'd like to. I'd like to certainly work on it. And I do understand I'm a physicist. I sort of understand the concept of the lighting. I do want to improve the lighting here. I have limited scope for doing that, though. I mean, the thing at the back, I mean, some people will just say, well, why don't you just, like most YouTubers, just have what's behind them, and I could just put a bookcase there with some, like, of my geeky Dungeons & Dragons and Warcraft books and stuff like that there. Yeah, sure, I could. And that would look fine, and no one would have an issue with that. But then also sometimes I like to put footage behind me, stuff like that. And I like it to be consistent. So the reason I use the green screen is just because I like it to be consistent. And even if I'm just doing something where there's nothing to show in the background, I might just have a blanket. It's just like a podcast, but with something in the back. It's a consistency thing. It's just my thing, my theme. But when the lighting isn't brilliant, and it was weird because I had a period of time where the lighting was actually working pretty well, and now it's not so much. Like last couple of weeks, it's like I haven't changed anything. What's going on? I don't know. But it is something, yes, I am going to actively work on. Whether I'll ever get it perfect, I don't know. I will keep coming up with cunning plans for that, though. Yeah, and this was the thing I said. I don't really comment and or dislike. It's fine. Well, you have done. I thought this was a year-end review of WoW, not your channel. I mean, this is something. I've done these subscriber reports for quite a while now. These I can't remember how much. This might be like 10th or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, someone did make the point a couple of things ago. They sort of thought it was for Warcraft. So I now make sure it's called like Thete Gaming subscriber report. I can't really think of anything else to call it. But that's why at the start I just make it clear this is about my channel and not about World. We can't comment about subscribers in World of Warcraft anymore anyway. They're not even published. But I can understand why some people would get that confusion there. But I can't think of it. It is a subscriber report. I just try and make it clear that it's for the channel now. And yeah. Someone asking where's the best place to send me a PM. Messages are really, really difficult. I now get so many. I don't even get to read all of them. I read as many as I can. I don't get to respond to as many as I like. It's like I get a choice. Can I read through all these, or do I read fewer and respond to the ones I can read? So I try and make a balance where I can. I don't know how people with many more subscribers cope. I can't imagine it. Even people on 100,000, and that's a drop in the ocean compared to some YouTubers. I don't get how they cope with it. And I know some of them go into full-time and get someone else to do it, but even then, wow. But it's always really awkward. Like, sending me to the email, if you've got a link to put in, is the best thing. Because if you put a message to me here and link, then it goes into the spam folder. And yes, occasionally I check the spam folder, and there's some comments in there that are fine, and I approve them. But I don't get a lot of time to do that sort of admin. It's a tricky one. The email is the best. And yeah. And that was it for the comments there. So just in terms of what I'm looking to try and do over the next period of time, because I say I've got 3 more weeks at work, then I've got 2 weeks off. So I don't know when 7.2 is going to come out as well. I mean, I'm hoping 4 weeks. I really don't believe it will be as much as 4 weeks, though. That would be ideal, because then it would give me a whole week off to do all the 7.2 videos I need to get done before it comes out. Because if it comes out before then, I don't think I'm going to get them all out. So there'll be more priorities to do there. And there are, as I say, videos. I keep saying, yes, I'm going to do that. I will intend to do that. But then we struggle because I just run out of time. Like at the moment, there's 30 videos. And I've added a few more this weekend. I've thought of another few videos to do. And it just keeps going up and up and up. And it's only when, as I say, Easter comes around that I get a chance to catch up with it. But by then, some videos, it'll be like, you'll look at it now because, well, there's no point in doing it now because it's out of date. And that's just the way it is. So, but if anyone does have any sort of feedback, but what I'm planning to do is this Easter, as well as like get ahead with some videos, is I want to actually, like, I had a website going. That was another way of hopefully trying to organize some of the videos as well. I stopped it because I keep running into problems of it needing maintenance. Like, I don't want any out-of-date information on it. So I'm going to rethink that this Easter and relaunch it, maybe on a different like URL or the same one. I haven't decided that yet, but I'm not going to promise, but I'm wanting to relaunch it this Easter, but it's time dependent. I still need to think about how I'm going to do it and then actually construct it. And I just want it to be simple, easy to maintain. That's got to be the priority for that. And other things in terms of the channel, I want to think about how I do an intro without it like being, with it being part of the video rather than something in the middle like it is currently on WoW Flash. I also redesigned the ending. The ending lasts for about half a minute, actually. It doesn't need to last that long. So I'm going to redesign that as well. There's various other things I'm going to redesign. The banner, the banner needs redesigning. And just think about a few design things like that, and then maybe try and see if I can improve the lighting in here as well. But if anyone has any comments, please put them below. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel, and until next time, I'll see you later.